Hey, what's up, everybody? So I just want to go through my rig rundown. I like these things, so I guess I decided I could probably do one for myself and maybe share it with you guys. So first off, um, let's start with guitars. So what I'm using as far as guitars, I'm using this Washburn N2, which is Nuno Betancourt's signature model. This is the kind of the entry level type of guitar. Floyd Rose has been changed, and the bridge pickup has the proper Bill Lawrence pickup. I am playing with a Peavey Wolfgang export and an Ernie Ball Sterling Axis, pretty much, which are pretty much the same thing as the his old guitars there. Next up, amps. For amps, this top monstrosity here is my attempt at putting a combo inside of a head. So this is actually a YCV50B, blue, sorry. It's EL84 powered, 2-channel, foot switchable, clean crunch, and there's a boost, but the boost is, it's not that it's unusable, but it's not the best thing to use, and it's all switched via 1/4 inch that is switched with the inside of the rack there. I'll show that later. And the other amp that I'm using, and this is mostly for my dry signal, and I use my other amp, which is this thing here is a Peavey 6505 Plus. I'm using all 3 channels, which is so clean crunch and lead channel. Lead channel I use mostly for the actual leads, but I'm not considering this thing doesn't have as much gain as like his previous model. It sounds really good to me, and in the context of the band that I'm playing in right now, it sounds very, like, it's pleasing to play. Next up, cabs. So first off, this cab is kind of something that I built. I had a 212 cab, and I decided to put in. Previously, I had those things there, which are like Fender's special whatever voice. It was just something like a placeholder for something that I was going to pick up, and eventually I picked. This is a V30, and that's a DV77. The combo is actually quite nice. There's not. There's like a lot of mids, and this cleans up at the top end, and it helps with the bottom end as well in keeping it tight. And that's pretty much for that one. It's a single 8. Well, it's 2 16-ohm speakers, so the cab is 8 ohms, anyways. And this one here. So this cab here, it's a JCM lead 1960. So it's loaded with those G12T75s, but with the white label ones, the ones that everybody wants to have. It's not the most recent one. These are from the mid to early 80s, I believe, mid to late 80s. These sound kind of like the G12 65s, but a little bit higher power and a little bit more mid-range, I believe. Anyways, sounds really good in combo with the other cab. That's kind of why I did the whole dual amp setup. And yeah, it's 8 ohm as well. 4 8 ohm speakers, 8 ohms. Sounds good. Oh, we're mic'd up here with single SM57. And now for the brains of it all. I'm running a Helix rack with the controller that I'll show you guys later. There's not a whole lot in the background. I am running, so my Helix actually does channel switching for both amps via the mini amp gizmo by RJM. This one's for the YCV, this one's for the Peavey. I have them set up so that one click changes channel, changes settings on the actual Helix itself. Oh, yeah, so I do have, so signal chain is pretty straightforward. I got a volume, which I control via the floorboard. And then I have a couple of effects. This routing here, this split is just for my modulation up front, like chorus and phase flange, kind of the Van Halen thing. I got two blocks for oh yeah, that light is horrible. So yeah, I got 2 blocks for pitch. One is 12 string and another one is like an octave up or down. And then regular stuff like EQ. This is my send to go to the Traynor, which is I'll show you guys how I route it. And this is the effects loop for the Peavey, and then delay. I don't use a whole lot after the preamp. Mostly delay. Reverb is cool, but in the venues that we play, we don't really need it because there's a lot of reverberation. So yeah. So the RJMs are MIDI controlled. This is actually hooked up to the Peavey by its original 7-pin DIN cable. This is plugged in via MIDI to TRS cable, and I was able to program whatever I needed with it. And yeah, I'll show the back of the rack. Woo! So there's not a whole lot to see in the back of the rack. That blue light up there is a power supply for both the RJMs. This box right here is just an isolation box because it eliminates a little bit of the hum. Power is provided by the Newmark power conditioner, and then Helix is doing all the switching and all that jazz. So yeah. Yeah, it's not a whole lot to see in the back. Last but not least, floorboard. It's pretty much straightforward approach. Guitar goes into wah. Yeah, wah is generic Dunlop wah, you know, those cheap ones. Guitar goes into the wah, goes out to the patch bay, goes to the Helix, to the front of the Helix. From the front of the Helix, it goes through the effects loop and all that stuff of the Peavey, and then that all stays in the back for the wiring. But my send one from the from the Helix comes back out into the patch bay, goes to the volume pedal, and the output of the volume pedal go back to the patch bay, and that's to mix in the Traynor. I could do all this stuff with another expression pedal plugged into the controller, but I don't have an extra expression pedal right now. I do plan on getting one and eliminating like a lot of the cables here. I'd only have I'd eliminate actually 2 cables from here, so I'd just have one coming out of the wall and back. This is just a power strip for the wall. The rest is all powered by the RJ45 cable that's going to the Helix. And for presets, I use pretty much the same layout on all my presets. So if we go here, so 1 is always going to be clean, 2 crunch. This is pretty much the amps without any boost or whatever. More is going to be the amps with the Boss SD1 in the front of them, and lead actually adds the delay for that shmoo in the back, and it adds a 1.5 dB boost as well. That's pretty much it. This is just this is a chorus that I add on some songs. Dual pitch is for I mimic the keyboard parts on Blue Collar Man. A delay is pretty much delay. This is phaser. I call it swoosh because that's the sound that it does. And then if I go to stomp mode, I have a 12 string that I could sometimes kick in and out if I ever need to. This is a level boost, so if I do actually have to boost it just a little bit, you know, I'm doing a lead or something that I want. And this is a flanger for Unchained. And I only use it for the intro because that's how he used it. And I think, yeah, that's pretty much the whole setup. So I wanted to talk about one last thing. This pose here, which is my my mic stand. I got innovative and I went to the Home Depot and I got the flange and I got the pipe fitting for the flange, and then I found that one of my mic stands actually I could screw it in or actually punch it into the actual pipe, so that way it's pretty solid, and if I need to unscrew it I just have to unscrew it, and it's been solid. And I haven't had any issues with it, so yeah, it's pretty straightforward actually, and it got like big wood screws in there to hold it in. And the pedal board is actually just a door, cabinet door that I had lying around, and I wanted it to be fancy, but apparently I'm impatient, and I just slapped everything on there, and I said go with it. All right, so that's pretty much it for my setup. All right, see you later, guys. Come and see us on November 30th.